You also never know where your next superstar is going to come from, right?
Yes.
You never know if that next hire that you make is someone who can, really just become a leader within your organization and help your company move up to the next
Yes.
level.
Welcome to Jobbers Masters of Home Service, a podcast for home service pros by home service pros. We're in Las Vegas, and today we're talking about how to handle stressful volumes of work. I'm your host, Adam Sylvester. Today's guests are Crystal Ham and Kelly Guerrero. Ladies, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Yeah, glad you guys are here. Kelly, why don't you tell our audience who you are, what you do, and your background?
Sure. My name is Kelly Guerrero. I am the co-owner of Fast Lawnscapes, and I also do mentoring with homeprocoaching.com.
Crystal?
Hey, good morning, Adam. My name is Crystal Ham. I own Go-To Girls. We are a residential cleaning service in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, and we've been in business for about 9 years.
I'm glad you're both here. Both businesses are doing over $1 million. You both have teams, and you have stressful volumes of work at times. We're gonna get into that. But what have you guys found to be helpful when you just have a stressful amount, like maybe a surge of phone calls you're getting, or maybe a couple employees quit and you're in a lurch? Let's start there. Like, how do you guys go about that? Just initial, like, we're in trouble.
Bourbon. No. No. One thing at a time. I'm only one person. Each one of my team is only one person, and you just have to take things as they come and do one thing at a time. For me, what helps is to sit down, make a list, prioritize, and start with the most important things first, and then go from there.
I think definitely when you're in your slower season, create your systems and processes then. So when the craziness comes, busy season, for me, cleaning, it's the holidays, so that when the busy season does come, then you know what to do. So definitely prioritize. I think that would be the key.
There's a lot of overwhelm. It can just feel so overwhelming. And our listeners are in the same boat. They're in the same boat as we are. So what are some things that you guys have found to be helpful when you're just like, we have too much work today and not enough staff people to do it? And also tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. What are some ways that you have found to help with the overwhelm? Some of the things you've said are helpful, like one bite at a time, just like one step at a time. Anything else?
For us, it depends on if it's call outs versus if it's the busy season. So for example, in the cleaning world, I'm going to prioritize high profit jobs versus, for example, I would prioritize taking a client that wants a deep clean. I have the opportunity for a recurring client versus if it's a move out clean. That client is going to book that cleaning and then move on. So I think that we prioritize what's going to be best for the business and just look at the overall potential for future as well as potential for profit on that job. So we would do that. We also have a wait list. So our clients understand once the busy season comes, then we create a list. We cover an entire county. So we have a list of northern wait lists, eastern wait lists, southern wait lists, and western. And so we prioritize. So if there is a last minute availability with a client canceling, then we go to our wait list and we fill that spot to ensure that our cleaners have the work.
I like that because the wait list sounds so professional. Instead of saying, oh, we're just booked, we can't take any more clients. Wait list is way more of a soft blow to the caller, right? They're like, that sounds okay. Put me on the wait list.
Yeah.
For us, for like a surge of jobs that come in, like a hurricane or a tropical storm or some kind of a natural event like that, we get blasted where everybody wants service. And so we do like what I like to call the triage approach, where in a hospital, they would take someone who's bleeding out first over someone who maybe has a cough. Mm-hmm. So we do the same thing. If there's, a tree that falls on someone's house or on their vehicle or, significant amount of debris that needs to be cleaned up, those are the ones that we go to first. And then folks that just need, I have a tree that's leaning, if you could just set it back up for me. Those would be a lower priority. And we're very transparent with our customers and explain, hey, we have to get to these first because these are more urgent. Thank you so much for your patience. If you can just hang on for me, we'll get to you and we'll get you all straightened up. So
I think also planning ahead. So again, in the cleaning world, we're busy during the holidays. So we're already planning now for Thanksgiving. We're closed Thursday, Friday. We're reaching out to clients. We're being very proactive. Do you want to keep your cleaning the week of Thanksgiving? Do you want to skip your cleaning the week of Thanksgiving? And we start that a month in advance. So I think anything that you can do to prepare, if in the case of a hurricane, you can't necessarily prepare maybe, but we know when our busy season is. So we start preparing for that a month in advance.
Same with us. We do have our busy
Yes.
seasons usually like March or April. And so ahead of that for mowing, make sure all of our machines are ready to go, make sure we have the right amount of people to handle the jobs and,
Yeah.
just kind of get everything ready to go so that when busy season happens, we're ready no matter what.
And you mentioned call outs earlier. What do we do with call outs? So we do leave a little room in our schedule for if we do have situations for call outs. But one of the things we found that is very helpful, if it's near the end of the week, we ask for volunteers for Saturdays, and we actually pay our employees bonus pay if they volunteer to work on a Saturday. So, if your schedule's packed, then that's an opportunity not only for your employees to make more money, but it's a way to cover your clients as well.
We actually do the exact same thing with volunteers for Saturdays. And sometimes you get a lot of volunteers, sometimes you don't. But it definitely helps fill in that time when you have more work than you have week.
Yes.
So then you know how to get all that work done in a short amount of time.
I think the word I'm hearing a lot is like preparation helps a lot. If you're prepared for the busy season, for the Thanksgiving, for March, preparation makes a lot of difference.
Right.
And if you're well prepared, you can absorb a lot of punches, so to speak. But if you're not prepared, then you really are feeling a lot of stress. There's a lot of other stress related to business too, though. Surge. I would call surge volume like kind of good stress, because it's like, man, we're just so busy. We can take our pick of whatever clients we want to serve. And then there's weeks that it just rains all week in the lawn care world, right? And then you have the same, nothing's really changed except for now we have to like make up all this stuff. We have to make up and cram.
Well, we've had that happen where, obviously Florida, it rains a lot. And so if it rains, I'll send out an email blast to our customers and say, hey, it's rained a lot. If we mow your grass, we're probably going to mark it up. So if you think it'll be better that it waits till next week, just let us know. Overwhelmingly, clients say, oh yeah, wait till next week. There's no rush. And that instantly takes that pressure and that stress off, right? Because we're not assuming that they want us to do that for them. Of course, you do have the clients who say, oh no, my grass has to be cut no matter what, because if it's more than 3.5 inches long, somebody, will lose their mind. So
Right.
we do accommodate those customers too, but it's easier to accommodate 100 clients instead of 400 clients in a week.
Yeah. And Crystal, weather may not be as big of a factor for you because you're working indoors, but you have breakdowns. You have crews that go down just for the whole day for whatever reason, and suddenly 15 homes aren't being cleaned today. They have to be cleaned tomorrow or the next day or the next day. And so how do you accommodate for those kinds of unforeseen? Because everyone's dealing with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's just being authentic with your clients, just explaining to them we are real people with dealing with real issues. Most of our clients are pretty understanding. We do allow room in our schedule to, because we understand based on the number of employees that we have, we will have call outs.
Let's talk about that. You've mentioned a couple of times margin in your schedule.
Yes.
Explain that.
Yeah, so we have over 55 employees. So we account that we're going to have at least 2 call outs every single day. So generally speaking, we'll allow 2 openings in the morning and 2 openings in the afternoon. Worst case, we have what we call like flex houses. So if someone needs the work, I'm generally on the list. I would love to have my house cleaned every week. So we do have those availability to where we could call someone last minute if for some reason we did not have call outs, to ensure that our employees have work. But we know that statistically speaking, we're going to have call outs. So we never fully book our schedule.
We have the call outs too. And in our case, we'll pull somebody off of a different crew. Usually we have 2 leaders on one of our commercial routes. And so what we'll do is we'll pull one of those leaders off, put him on where he needs to go. And then a lot of times the operations manager, he'll have to jump in and run a route, run some one-off jobs, whatever the case may be. But we try and just always have a little bit of a cushion in with our schedule, just to make sure we're not overcommitting, because the worst thing you want to do in business is over promise and under deliver. You want it to be the reverse.
Margin is so important. That's a great point. So you can build margin in by either just space on the calendar, but then also you can have roles in your company that are hybrid, which some days you're management and some days you're doing the work, production. Those are great ways. I remember the first time, because I used to get so frustrated. I was like, how in the world we're always behind. We're just constantly behind. It gets to the end of the week and we're still not finished with everything, just constantly. And then my buddy Donovan Questenberry said, man, just book Monday through Thursday. Keep Friday wide open. And you'll be amazed. And I've never slept better since we've been leaving that margin open. Because here's the thing, it's usually easy to book up Friday if it's been nice weather and nothing bad happened. It's easy to book up Friday. But if nothing went well that week, and because the goal for me is to finish the week. right? Complete everything that was booked for that week within the week and not having any carryover to next week. That's the goal for me. And so if I can do that by having some margin on Friday, that helps. I'm curious how you guys handle your team members in the flexibility, because you might have a rain day or something, or the vehicle breaks down. And then how do you make up? Do you have them work later? Boss, I can't work later. How do you handle that kind of stuff?
Well, for us, it's going to depend on when it starts raining, right? If it's raining like all night long before they're coming to the shop, we say, hey, we're just not working today. We're going to work late tomorrow and probably the next day. But if it starts raining in the middle of the day, like say 10:30, we get some freak storm out of nowhere, they can come into the shop and sharpen blades, tidy the shop, do some things there for a few hours to get their time in for the day, right? To finish their day so their paycheck isn't impacted.
Okay.
But usually we'll do that, or they make it up the following day or the following day, and
Okay.
so on.
So very similar situation. If, for some reason a bunch of clients cancel or things like that, we'll have the ladies come into the office, clean vacuums, help with supplies, things like that. So really sort of our philosophy is you never know until you ask. So let's say we have a bunch of call outs, 5 in a day. That would be a lot for us. Then we would just ask the other team like, hey, can anyone work late? Or does anyone want to volunteer to work on the Saturday? So it is a very rare circumstance where we cannot clean someone the day or the next day, or even push them to the weekend. So our goal is like you, Adam, we want to clear that schedule by the end of the week.
I want to hammer this because I know our listeners are thinking the same thing I'm thinking. I'm a man of the people. I want to ask the questions they're asking. Do you require your people to work late or work Saturdays? And is that part of the hiring process? How do you juggle obligations to clients, especially if it's not especially if it's our fault? We double booked or we made a mistake and like we promised you we'd come today. We need someone there. How do you manage that with team morale? And I'm always working late, or there's a lot there. You guys have any tips on that?
So our employees are our number one asset. We treat our employees like they're gold because they really are. And so we never require an employee to work late. In fact, we allow each one of our employees to customize their own schedule, and they can tell us what time they need to be off every day. So it's their option if they want to work late and they have the flexibility. Because we do look out for our employees, we offer to pay them bonus pay on a Saturday. There's no obligation to do that. But because we treat them so well, they know that if we reach out, we really need the help. But they're not required to. And we always
usually
find
works
a
out
way.
for you. It sounds like it usually works.
Well, because also, part of the variable for us that we're not talking about is that clients also skip. Clients also cancel. So there's typically always an opportunity we allow for that too. We get skip requests, we get, late cancel, my daughter's sick, something like that. That allows some flexibility on the schedule as well.
Yeah, we always make sure that we take care of our employees first because our team's everything,
Yes.
right? They're the ones who are going to people's homes and taking care of their homes. And so we would never require them to work overtime or extra time or Saturday or anything like that.
No.
Right. We do get, hey, who wants to volunteer? And we always get volunteers.
Yes.
And it's not always the same people. Sometimes they have things they have to do with their families, or they'll let us know, hey, I can't work tomorrow. My wife is going to the doctor and I'm going to take her because I want to be with her. Okay, great. Now we know and we can plan accordingly. And we don't ever give them a hard time about that because our employees are people too. They have families, they have children, things that they have to do. And I feel like you have to have a two-way respect in your business, right? It's not just they're there working for you. You're also there to serve them. How can I help you? How can I make your life a little bit better, your day better?
It's a dance, yeah.
It sure is.
I want to pause the conversation, even though this is a really good one, to talk about Jobber. And, Jobber can help a lot in these kind of situations. High stress, high volume of work. What do you guys like about Jobber so much that helps you handle the high volume so no one falls through the cracks?
Well, I really love the request feature where people can submit their requests online. They can, or the staff in your office can go ahead and enter information from the phone calls that they're getting right in. That way, nothing's stuck on a sticky note and doesn't get missed or left behind, forgotten about. And, oh, we never got that person a quote. Everything is right there in the system, easily convertible to quotes and then to jobs.
And I love the ability to set up the recurring clients. So whether it be weekly or bi-weekly, for us monthly is every 4 weeks. Jobber allows that option. And then the great thing is once they are set up for that recurring service, they get the email reminders, the text reminders as well.
Yeah, my favorite is being able to tag. It's not actually tagging. I use a calendar user called Flexible. And so then I assign that flexible schedule to anyone who says, oh, just come anytime. So then our office staff can pull up that flexible schedule and say, oh, John's ready. He said anytime. So we call him, yeah, come on by, I work from home. It's really easy to keep track of those people who might otherwise, we may never get to because they're flexible. We just keep pushing them back, but it's a great way to keep track of those people. So you need Jobber as well. You need to keep track of all your clients in a very organized way, and Jobber helps you do that. Stop letting people fall through the cracks. They deserve better. Go to jobber.com/podcast deal, get an exclusive discount, and start managing your business better with Jobber. I want to talk about leadership, especially in these hot moments where we have a lot of work, we're juggling all these different teams and assignments and all these clients. How do you delegate in those situations? You can't be in 10 places at once. You can't be doing all these different things. How have you found the best tactics for delegating and splitting up all your to-do lists into different people and getting it all done without just being all on you?
I would say, going back to when you're not crazy busy, that's when you develop your people. That's when you develop your systems and processes. So, for example, I have 6 ladies in my office, anywhere from sales to customer service to scheduling. We all have a backup, right? So we need to understand what the other people do just in case it's crazy in the office, right? But I think at the end of the day, for me, it's about perspective. We are here to serve people, but at the end of the day, if someone's house doesn't get cleaned, nobody's dying, So we're
Right.
balancing
Matters,
perspective is really, really important.
I always say there's no emergencies in landscaping. We're not curing cancer. Yes, we provide a very valuable service, and it's important to do that well. But if we don't mow somebody's grass, they're not going to have a heart attack. I mean, they're going to be okay. And so perspective is 100% key, just to keeping some levity, keeping things light, right? There's not so much pressure. So I know sometimes we put a lot of the pressure on ourselves because we want everything to go exactly perfectly. And we want to run this very well-oiled machine, but let's be honest, sometimes it doesn't happen like that.
No.
And just to give yourself some grace, and it's okay, we can get it together tomorrow.
Sometimes our people, and you both have experienced this because you have great people, they will take on the stress too, right? So you're stressful and you think, well, I'm the owner, and they're just the employee. But if you have good people, they feel the stress. They want to deliver for the clients. They feel all this overwhelm just like you do a lot of times. How do you manage that?
Again, we talk about perspective. We give grace. For us at this point, we're back to all females. And so we have a lot of single moms. They get sick children, things happen. I'm a mom. I give them grace. Is it tough when you get 5 call outs in a day? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, we're there to provide a service. We're doing the best we can. We're humans. We give grace. It's the same thing with a client. Maybe they left to go on vacation and forgot we were coming. We show up. There's no key under the mat. We give grace. Now, we do not allow abuse, right? We don't allow our employees to abuse us. We don't allow our clients to abuse us. But there's grace. We're all human. We're all doing the best we can. But I'm going to hone back in systems and processes, because if you have things that are well-defined and in order, then it makes things a lot easier when the chaos comes.
I want to come back to that, Crystal. Like, give us an example of what you mean by give us an example, but we'll come back to you. Okay, go ahead.
No, I was actually going to piggyback off of what she said with the systems and processes, right? Where they, our team knows what they have to do. Of course, the service part itself, but then also the internal processes that we have, the checklist, the photos, requests that they submit and things like that. And so by educating all of our employees, all of our technicians in the field, as well as the office staff on how to wear a variety of hats, when we do have call outs or things that happen, or there's a huge influx of new work, more people are there in a position to be able to take care of those projects, right? To take care of those requests. We're just able to catch up a lot quicker than we would be otherwise if it was all on one person's shoulders.
Crystal, do you have an example of what does it look like to prepare in the off season, or in the slow season, I should say, for these really big surges, for the overwhelm, for the stress? Can you give me an example of a process or a protocol that is in place that helps manage that kind of stuff?
As far as call outs or just huge volumes during the holidays, or
either one is fine. I'm just I want to give our listeners a really practical, because here's the deal. A lot of our listeners don't have anything like that in place. They're doing 10,000 a month. small business, which is great. It might just be them and like one employee. And now is the time, as you guys know, to be developing those SOPs and those protocols now. And so what's one thing they can do now to help when they are doing bigger volume and they have a callback or a call out, whatever the case may be?
Well, so we have a team meeting every Tuesday with my entire office staff. And so that's when we develop what those strategies might look like. So, for example, we'll talk about for us, we're very high volume right now with Southern clients where we live, right? I don't have enough Southern cleaners. So we know once the holidays come, that could possibly be crazy for us.
Yeah.
So, right now, we're preparing for that. Looking ahead, we're trying to hire a lot of Southern employees that will cover our Southern clients. So again, it's just sort of knowing what's coming your way. I know that the volume is going to increase starting in the next couple of weeks for the month of November. So that would just be one example. Preparing, making sure that we have the flexibility on the schedule. I have a tendency, so green for us on Jobber, it's one of the things I love about Jobber. We code the word open and it turns the schedule green. We know those are openings. I have a tendency to push my team, fill the green, fill the green. That means that's more money, make that money.
Make the green,
Make that green, yeah. So sometimes I have to remember, back off. We need the wiggle room. So it's preparing my team now. They know, okay, worst case, we have a ton of openings. We'll run a flash sale tomorrow. Those are systems and processes that we have. It's okay if we have the green. We had someone in a car accident over the weekend. We had somebody whose kid's in the hospital. This is real world. This happened over the weekend. All those green spots that we had on Monday that I was pushing my girls to fill before I came here, guess what? We had girls that called out. So we developed that process of understanding just because you have the opening, sometimes it's okay to sit back. It doesn't mean you're not, your team's not going to have work for the day. Understanding, sort of getting in a feel and having a process for what that looks like. Worst case, it comes Monday, then what do we do? Okay, we move our afternoon clients to the morning, and then we can send out an email, last minute opening, 3 openings in the north, whatever that may look like for your business. And then we can get those employees work. So that would be a system and a process for us. Not everything necessarily always has to be like a knee-jerk reaction, if that makes sense. Sometimes you let things go and flow, see what happens. But then when you don't have the work, what do? That's where you have to have the process. Move afternoon clients to the morning, run a flash sale, have them come clean vacuums, clean equipment, whatever that looks like to ensure your team is taken care of. Was that what you're looking for?
That's really helpful.
I think it's also really important especially for the smaller businesses that are looking to scale up and to grow, for them to start taking a look at what are my terms and conditions going to be. And this is not something you want to do when you're slammed and you've got a ton of requests out there, right? You need to sit down and define very well your products and services so there's no confusion during the busy times when clients are receiving quotes and approving them or what have you, and making sure your terms and conditions are in place and making sure that you have all of those things. And then imagine what it would be like when you have more people doing quotes and what that procedure is going to look like from the time you get a request to the time you issue the quote, schedule the job. And so the best time to do that is on the downtime or the slow season or the, outside of your busy time. So then when the busy times do come, you're prepared because you've set all those systems up on the front end, so that now that it's a lot smoother when the times do get busy and stressful. You're able to just kind of follow your system, follow your process, and it goes very well for you.
Yeah.
If I could add to that, for us, it may not seem like a system or process, but 2 things we never stop doing. We never stop marketing. So just because things are crazy busy right now, don't cut your Google ads, don't cut your, whatever that looks like. Never stop marketing and never stop hiring. So that may sound, or if you've never experienced that before, it can be very stressful. What do you mean hiring? Like, we have all these openings on the schedule. We always need leverage, right? As amazing as our employees are, they could possibly,
Quit.
give your 2-week notice. Yeah. They could quit you, no notice, whatever that is. And plus, when you have leverage, it also provides you the opportunity, if you have an employee that perhaps is not performing as well as they should. If your schedule is stressed and you're maxed out, if you have an employee that you really should have on disciplinary action or need to let go, they're not great, they're not that bad. If you had someone better, would you keep them? So if you continually, as part of your process, never stop marketing, never stop hiring, then when you do have these crazy busy seasons that come, at least you have a flow of employees that you can continue to bring in.
You also never know where your next superstar is going to come from, right?
Yes.
You never know if that next hire that you make is someone who can, really just become a leader within your organization and help your company move up to the next
Yes.
level.
One thing I thought about earlier for a tree company, for example, if a huge storm comes through, a simple process could be simply making sure that your office staff, the CSR who answers the phone, knows exactly what services you offer
Mhm.
and don't offer. So if someone's calling, I have a tree on my house. Sorry, we don't do tree removals right now. Crystal clear. So that way that lead doesn't clutter the rest of the leads and it's not a good lead. Just making sure your office staff know exactly what you offer makes a big difference because you don't want to clutter your leads with bad leads.
Well, and also too, I think it's really important to make sure you've dialed down your services of what you're offering, right? You can't be everything to everyone. So I think it's better to have 5 or 6 or 7 services that your team is really good at. This is what you can do. This is what's profitable for and makes sense for your organization versus trying to do other things that are kind of on the fringes of what your core services are. And if you're able to, just kind of focus on that, it keeps things a lot less stressful.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
also think, do you guys think it's a good time to maybe cut loose some clients that are a little bit bid too low last year, just low profit? Now is a good time to reevaluate some of those clients and either raise their price or kick them to the curb.
The
Absolutely.
problematic ones especially. We all
Yeah,
have those problematic customers that no matter what you
they
do,
hassle your
they're not
people,
going
Yes,
to be happy.
they
They're abusive
complain.
to your staff. We have a zero tolerance policy for
we do
that,
too.
where we had a situation where the lady came out and was cussing at our team members,
Not
and
okay.
I had to call her and say, "I'm sorry, we won't be working with you anymore." So I think it's important to definitely look out for your team on that.
Yeah, we do the same thing with zero tolerance policy. If anyone mistreats or speaks poorly to our employees or treats them poorly, that would be a good time to look at rate increases as well. So if all of a sudden you find that you're winning every single job, okay, the bells should go off.
Wait a minute.
Am I the low price guy now when I'm providing the most value? So that's a good opportunity. And maybe in that hustle bustle, it's hard to prioritize that, but just put that on the back burner. I need to look at my prices. I need to shop my competition and see where we stand. But yeah, absolutely. And, also when we are getting these leads, just like you mentioned, Adam, it would be if you just get a sense for someone like, this might be a more of a difficult client than, the other person that called 5 minutes before, do what's easiest and best for your team. A client that just seems sort of more go with the flow.
And your team will love you for it too. Kelly, I want you to speak to something that's very acute for a lot of our listeners out there who live in areas that have natural disasters. You live in Florida, you've lived there for a long time, so
Right,
you've gone
right.
through a lot of hurricanes. People live in California wildfires, blizzards, all these things that just completely disrupt operations at times for several days. You have a unique perspective on this. How do you handle that? Treating your team right, treating your clients right, all at the same time.
Well, the first thing that we do when there's, a hurricane or some kind of a natural disaster is we reach out to our team and make sure they're okay, right? Do you have what you need for your family to make sure you guys, you have power, you have food, and I hope everyone's doing well. Here's some information, about local emergency management, road closures, how this may affect schools, etc. And then the request starts coming in. And
Hmm.
when they come in, it's just like, I don't know, I just imagine the hurricanes coming all over again. This time it's
It's
blowing
another
right in my
flood,
face
a
with the
flood of
requests,
leads.
right?
Yeah.
So then you have to prioritize. Okay, which ones are the most serious? We tend to prioritize our school district. We have a contract with them. The idea is you want to get back to some type of normalcy as soon as possible and
Mm.
get the kids back to school and so forth. So you say, hey, who's available to work? And most recently, when we last had hurricanes, we had 2 employees that they weren't able to. They couldn't leave their family. Their children were very young, and so it's like that's okay. Do what you need to do. Take care of your family. We're going to be here next week or the week after or whenever you can come back to work. But anybody who can, let's get all hands on deck. And I know after the last hurricane, we worked all day Friday, all day Saturday. I'm talking 7 to 7, working to clear things all day Sunday, all day Monday. I thanked my team profusely. A lot of them were working with no power in their own homes,
Mm.
so Florida, it's hot. so you're sleeping in 80, 90-degree weather with mosquitoes and all of that. So
Yeah.
as a business owner, we did what we needed to do to make sure they had ice. And I, got together with some of my resources, and we made sure everyone had ice, made sure they had battery powered, fans, made sure they had lanterns to, just to provide that very basic needs for your people. I feel like that shows the respect that you have for them, and then they in turn treat you with respect as the employer as well. And
Yeah.
so it's a lot of moving parts, but taking care of your people means they'll always take care of you.
That's really helpful. Thank you.
Can I add to that? So I think it's again back to policy procedure. I don't deal necessarily with that, but it snows in North Carolina. We deal with inclement weather. So develop your inclement weather policy now so that both your clients and your employees understand what that is. We communicate with both of them prior to something happening. If we know there's a snowstorm, we'll reach out to all of our clients. We understand you're on the schedule. If there's inclement weather, then this is our plan, A, B, C.
Right.
Just because school's closed doesn't necessarily mean that Go To Girls is closed. They'll close school sometimes when there's not a flurry that hits the ground. So just creating clear expectations. Just because your kids are at home, as long as our team is working, that doesn't mean we're not going to come clean your home. So I think just setting really clear inclement weather policies for both ends and communicating that. And then we're the same, as Kelly. If the weather is, we have employees that have come from the north, they're comfortable driving in the snow. We have employees that come from Florida, they would never drive in the snow. Everyone has a different comfort level. As long as we are operational, we allow each employee to decide what is best for their company, and that is not considered a call out for us.
Crystal, Kelly, that was a really great conversation. I appreciate that. I'm going to try to boil it down to 3 actionable items here. Number 1 is you have to build margin into your schedule, whether it's day by day, having like 2 hours each day free, or you just keep Friday open. The goal is to finish your week, all the work, so you don't have any carryover. Build margin in your calendar. You'll be happy and your people will love it because it's less stress for them. Number 2 is prepare. Staff up for the busy season. Make sure you have terms and conditions in place so people know exactly what to expect if it snows or if a hurricane comes through. And maybe even train your people in the off season. Prepare, prepare, prepare. And number 3 is use a wait list. I love that one. Use a wait list. And so when people call and you're too busy, say, we'll put you on the wait list and then call them when there's an opening. I think that's a great way to soothe the blow and when people are disappointed that you're too busy for them. So ladies, that was great. Kelly, Crystal, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
How do people find out more about you, Crystal?
Yes, so my company is Go To Girls. It's go-2-girls.com. That's our website. We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
My website is fastlawns.net. That is for my landscaping business. And if you are interested in coaching, you can go to homeprocoaching.com, and I'd be happy to talk to you any way I can and help any way I can.
Well, I think your staff are super blessed to have you ladies as their bosses, CEOs, and I think that you're having a huge impact on your teams. So keep it up, and I'm really thankful. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening. I hope that you heard something today that will help you build more margin in your schedule and prepare for the surge of busyness. I'm your host, Adam Sylvester. You can find me at adamsylvester.com. Your team and your clients deserve your very best, so go give it to them.